Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yay, everything looks good. So welcome back to even more Sarkaz's Furnaceside Fables. First, I'm gonna choose a different track, because why not? So we're gonna go to over here, Archives, Melodies. Decisions, woohoo! Oh gosh, the 2 times. Okay, yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me fix that, so boop. Ta-da! All is well. But yeah, now, decisions. You know, I want to be tried by souls. Being tried by souls sounds fun. So we'll have this one, and then now to switch screens. So, boop. Ta-da! On to ending 5. Starting with disappear. So ominous first thing. Only you remain. The story collapses. Thoughts? The ending watches you from the end of every path, and finally, she tires of waiting and walks straight towards you. Well, that's ominous as heck. Fated encounter. The black beast clamps its jaws down on its prey's throat until it stops struggling and goes limp. Suddenly, it sees a flash of gold, a creature it's never seen before, on the wastes. Under the sun, the strange creature's mane shines, its fangs and claws powerful. Curious, the black beast puts down the prey, locks eyes with the creature, and answers the creature's wishes. Obtain Lamp of Wishes. I heard the Sarkaz can grant any wish, so I dug deep to find their secrets. Seems this was the start of their suffering. In that moment, the Sarkaz hears an earnest wish. The creature before it desires to end its hunger. The Sarkaz grants this wish, offering its prey to the beast, which then dies from overindulgence, becoming the Sarkaz's meal. Sadly, those who followed only remembered the Sarkaz granting wishes. They wished and wished until both they and the Sarkaz met their ruin. Desire to express. Revenants suddenly appear in your tail. Omen in the void. Ooh. Okay, there's Nymph and a Mia. Nymph strolls the boundary of imagination, hoping for a rare lightbulb moment. The storyteller shares many stories with the Revenants, but when she has already narrated truth, adaptation, and imagination, what else is there? The Revenants linger around her, constantly examining and modifying the ideas the storyteller is unwilling to bring to light. For example, a prophecy regarding the Sarkaz king. Try to accept it. Obtain prophetic image. You must have heard this before. I see you. Black crown on your head, melting millions of lives into nothing but memories. It concerns the Sarkaz king, a Mia story, one with an unfathomable ending. But at the Revenant's urging, Nymph relents. She persuades herself to try it, tell a story that might satisfy her ancestors. What she does not realize is that the moment she lets others take over the tale, she has lost control of everything that happened. Oh, okay, it's Bojukasti's prophecy. Oh no. I see you, Black Crown, turning millions of lives into memories. Well, I guess we're expanding on that part. I wonder if it's gonna end up being edgier than Logos' story. Epochal Revision. Hey, hello. This is one of the many tomes that the Sarkaz has written to hold the prophecies. I wonder if I can change my luck if I did some revisions. If tomorrow I run into... But am I willing to be at the mercy of prophecy? Let's not add anything. What's so bad about a little misfortune? Ah, yeah, what's so bad about misfortune? All or nothing. Pulling the story's loose threads while blindly searching for the end. The end is but an incoherent contradiction. By the time Nymph realizes this, the ground beneath her has already turned into layers of chaos. The desire for an end awakens the ending. From within the void, it models on Amiya as it traces the narrator's own end. To stop it, to steal it back within the void, Nymph needs to forge a key with the beginning. Despair. You'll definitely live. But please believe in this. Sob. Framework of the end. Catastrophes and war, as far as the eye can see. When help cannot stop death. When medical treatment becomes only an accomplice to hatred. Amiya carries on with the only option left. The futile, mechanical act of saving lives. Forge a key with change. Salvation. Sleep here for a bit. When we find the cure for apathy, you'll be able to wake up healthy. Reality of the end. Everything has been sealed into the crown. And now time flows only for Amiya. She will seek a panacea for all afflictions. A panacea for all afflictions. Physical or mental. She wants to cure them all. An absolutely lonely and endlessly long journey stands before her. She's already set off. Oh yeah, speaking of the Madoka game, how's it been? Forge a key with the end. Stasis. When all of you wake up, there'll be no more suffering. Until the day arrives, I will bear the pain alone. Body of the end. Amiya looks sadly at the person before her, seated within the cocoon. Frozen in place, they will no longer feel pain, nor will Originium cut their life short. She was unwilling to recklessly use her newly awakened powers, but now, there is no other choice. Oh, very close to half Annie. Oh, fun. Fearlessness and solitude created Amiya's ending, so Nymph combines them with the Sarkaz King's power to forge a key. Plunge it into the chest of the end, reach out to Amiya, and perhaps his farce may yet reach a conclusion. But it seems like I'm missing something. Nymph is a little worried. Perhaps this key will be enabled to touch the ending, and she fears she understands Amiya less than she thought. Endless key. Through your torrents of inspiration, a story takes shape from nothingness. Through your exhausted imagination, Amiya will put an end to everything. Can your thoughts become a weapon to resist her? Complete or incomplete, all suffering in all stories ends today. Amiya, the final boss. The final story boss. Well, that's gonna be fun, yet terrifying. Alrighty. And next on the list is part 4 first, and then 1 to 3 of Impeccable Day. I got this. Truly an impeccable day with Amiya. I thank you, bestie. No fear, no pain. All Amiya. Truly an impeccable day. Okay, part 4. Storybook 5 ending. Oh man, it's so ominous. But I love how the Revenants are just like, more story, more story. What, you don't want to tell us a story? Too bad, you're gonna tell us anyways. Like, give us a Mia story next. Silly, silly Revenants, holy cow. Let's see if they like this one. Farewell, Sarkaz. Little Mia was separated from her parents. Their caravan was caught in a skirmish, with the lead soldiers from the allied nations on one side, and on the other, Sarkaz? The people of Terra had not seen the Sarkaz for a very long time. They are believed to be wiped out following Casdel's destruction, or so the official narrative claimed. Who would have thought there would be a Sarkaz here? Amiya was dozing on the back of a burden beast when the sound of artillery fire caused it to break free from its restraints and bolt in fear. She held onto the reins for dear life, but at the end she was thrown off its back. Lost in the forest and unable to find her way, Amiya was gripped by fear as relentless artillery fire boomed around her. Terrified and disoriented, she instinctively picked a direction and started walking. After a while, she encountered an injured Sarkaz. All Sarkaz are devils, said the adults, but all Amiya saw was a woman with pink-white hair and long horns. Oh, I wonder what mysterious pink-white-haired lady she saw. Like, oh my. The only thing unusual about her was a little black crown floating above her head. Hello? Are you okay? The Sarkaz looked up at Amiya and nodded, but she was in bad shape. Her white dress dyed red with blood. Oh no! First thing, Teresa, no! And ooh, okay, I'll check out Game real quick. Oh man. Poor Teresa. Okay. You know, that photo mode looks hilarious. I kinda love that. I know, right? First thing. Oh man. Amiya wanted to try to stop the bleeding, but hesitated out of fear. She took shuffling steps forward, gauging the Sarkaz's reaction. Seeing that she remained still, Amiya kept walking until she reached her and saw the terrible wound. Does it hurt? It was the Sarkaz who spoke first, looking at the scrapes on Amiya's arm with a concerned expression. Amiya shook her head and tried to say something. She wanted to treat the Sarkaz's sword wound, but didn't know how. In the end, all she could do was put her own hand on top of the Sarkaz's hand that was pressing against the wound. Trying to console her, Amiya did not notice the soldiers approaching, crossbows and wands raised. They had long forgotten how many of their kin they accidentally killed while hunting the Sarkaz. To them, any act of kindness towards the Sarkaz was an unforgivable sin, even if it came from a child's gentle nature. Urginium arts and boats flew towards them. In the face of impending death, Teresa pulled Amiya into her embrace. May you become the hope. Pure light emanated from Teresa and covered the entire area. Amiya felt something go through her chest. It should have hurt, it should have bled, just like the Sarkaz before her. But her chest did not hurt at all. All she felt was a warm stream flowing into her heart. She felt warm and sleepy. When Amiya woke up again, she found herself in her parents' arms. The burden beast had been found, and she was safe. It should have been a good thing, but where did that Sarkaz lady go? She looked around and saw nothing. The artillery fire had ceased, and the adults were talking about the light in the forest and the soldiers who disappeared, but she heard no word of the Sarkaz. Well, I'm happy Amiya's safe, but oh no, Teresa! Bells sounded, reins are raised, and machines rumbled to life. The caravan set out again. All had their eyes forward, hoping for a better future after the war. Amiya alone looked back at the silent forest. Goodbye. The burden beast carrying Amiya slowly disappeared on the horizon. That was the last time anyone ever said goodbye to the Sarkaz. They were met by sword, by arrow, by death. Their numbers dwindled even further after the fall of Casdel, and they were never again able to form any kind of society until the end. And when the last Sarkaz head rolled, the Sarkaz, along with their past glory, was no more. Aww. With their common enemy destroyed, the allied nations once again fell into their own squabbles, going at the throats of their former allies with even greater fervor than they had killed the Sarkaz with. The lasting peace many had hoped for never materialized. Gosh darn it, people, why so bloodthirsty? Like, yay, we destroyed all the Sarkaz, woohoo! You know, let's celebrate by destroying each other next. Gosh darn it, this world. It wasn't many years... Ooh? Oh man, though. All this craziness.
Can you all hear my voice?
And yet, looks like it's working. All good.
Little lag for you to hear it.
But yeah, it looks like it's working all good. You?
Do you think that Amiya was... I don't think Amiya was aware that she was... that she is technically the last remnant of the Sarkaz, unaware of her powers. There's no guide. There's no cup to guide her. Oh.
Yeah, poor little Mia. She knew nothing. All she felt was a nice hug, a nice warmth in her chest, and then... It's like, well, okay. What a nice gift to Mia, though. It's like, you know, here you go, Mia. What a sweet little girl. Ta-da! New king. Let's see. It wasn't many years later that they remembered the Sarkaz again. It was obvious, wasn't it? As long as the Sarkaz still existed, they had a reason to forge peace and join forces again. And ooh, hello, hello! And oh man, time. First thing, you know, I'll say the character that I was interested in the most, which pissed me off. Yuya! I'm like, oh, this guy looks fun. I like him. Disappears after I say that. Like literally a minute afterwards, I'm like, gosh darn it. It was obvious, wasn't it? As long as the Sarkaz still existed, they had a reason to forge peace and join forces again. And so, they chose a place to grant the name Sarkaz. When there was no one left to kill there, they made another place Sarkaz. Starting with countries on the fringe, moving on to larger and more powerful nations, and finally dividing their own kin into classes. The unending cycle of branding and killing, but unity and justice would continue to exist, as long as the Sarkaz did. A never-ending war of Sarkaz killing Sarkaz, the Sarkaz have entered their own epoch of tragedy. Oh no. And now part 1. Butterfly wings. Please be careful next time. The medics team won't always have the time to reattach your arm. Amiya examines the replanted limb for the last time, checking the progress of its recovery. I'm perfectly fine, Dr. Mia. Look. Ooh, Dr. Amiya. The sunglasses-wearing Fidia mercenary waves his arm, trying to show the doctor that he is fully recovered, but Amiya remembers his movements being much smoother and quicker before. He never returns from battle without new scars. He says he wears sunglasses because of his sensitive eyes, but Amiya knows that he lost an eye in battle and chooses sunglasses over an eye patch. Oh my, though. This is like chaotic, but yay for Amiya, Dr. Amiya.
I think that was Ace.
Oh, you think that's Ace? Oh no! Poor Ace. Oh man. You know, it makes sense because of sunglasses, but oof. And chooses sunglasses over an eye patch to stand out less. His injuries get worse as the stalemate continues. This time, after hearing that he has his arm blown off, Amiya decides to try to persuade him to operate in safer areas. I know I gotta sneeze. Okay, just one random sneeze. Even if you're the ace of these mercenaries, we can't guarantee that we'll be able to reattach your arm every time. This time, we have a supply ship nearby, sufficient resources, and the situation on the front line is stable. But just a few months ago, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have had the manpower to handle a surgery like this. Do you understand?
I apologize, Dr. Mia.
The hulking Phidia cowers before Mia like a child being scolded. With your skills, you should have no shortage of work that is both easier and pays better. Plenty of nobles would gladly hire you as their bodyguard. Why choose to come here?
What about you, Dr. Mia?
I just want to help more people go home alive.
And I just want to help my mercenary buddies go home with their pay in their pockets, not in an envelope on top of the jar holding their ashes.
They both fall silent. Neither of us have a choice, do we?
What you want will be easy, Doc, especially in times like these. But never mind that. Want to hear some good news?
What is it?
They don't need us on the front lines recently, and I don't have to be in a stretcher every time I visit.
Really?
Yeah, we've been assigned to protect the field hospital and supply lines.
Oh yeah, your English is clear enough, no worries. And yeah, there's gonna be like a tiniest bit of a delay. Which is how it be at times.
Yeah, we've been assigned to protect the field hospital and supply lines.
That's wonderful. We'll be so much safer with you guys around.
I've heard some unsettling rumors, though. Some of the more bloodthirsty units in the area have begun targeting non-military facilities.
Unbelievable. Maybe that's where they
need mercs redeployed to the rear. But don't worry, Doc. We won't let...
They're suddenly interrupted by a nurse. Dr. Mia! The situation in the infected area. Coming. Amiya hastily takes her leave and runs toward the infected area. Generally, only the infected are willing to treat the infected. As such, only Amiya and a few other infected medical personnel attend to the infected patients, who far outnumber the uninfected. With more by the day, as more soldiers become infected, they can only offer basic treatment. In all the Originium-related conditions, the most dangerous is undoubtedly another case of acute erypathy? Yes, doctor. It doesn't look good. I moved the patient into a quarantine tent. I see. I'll take it from here. They run past the infected patients, looking at them with a mixture of gratitude and fear. Gratitude for the treatment they provide, but also fear that this time they might come bearing not salvation, but a death sentence. Amiya arrives at a green tent. She opens at the door, takes one look at the patient, and stops the nurse from following her inside. Too late. Notify the soldiers and evacuate the other patients in the area. But, just a moment ago, it wasn't... I understand. Doctor! Amiya hears a sound like rock knocking on rock coming from the tent. She gestures for the nurse to leave and walks inside. Dr. Amiya. I'm here. Amiya sits by the side of the bed, pen and paper in her hand. Will I make it? I'm sorry. The patient raises one uncrystallized hand and waves it a few times with great effort. At least, someone came to see me before the end. Would you like me to leave a message for your family? Or anything you want us to deliver? I can write it down. No, they're all dead. Our own fault. Nothing good comes of war. Aww. Yeah, where's Kelsey during this? Amiya says nothing. She holds the patient's hand and listens to him describe with his half-crystallized vocal cords how his family was swept up in the war, how they fell for the promises of the recruiters and abandoned their farms, only to be swallowed up by war, one by one. He was the last one left. The dessert at the end of dinner. The patient keeps talking and talking as though his life depends on it, until his vocal cords fully crystallize, and the sound of crystal scraping becomes clearly audible. With what little strength he has left, he pushes Amiya away and gestures for her to leave. Amiya turns over the pages in her notebook that have become wet with tears, tears a new page out, and folds the paper foul-beast. She waves it before the patient's eyes, then puts it in his hand. There is nothing she can do as a doctor, but as a fellow human, she wants to give him one final parting gift. Amiya leaves. Crystal soon rip the paper foul-beast apart. Amiya walks slowly out of the quarantine zone, lost in thought. She hears a dull sound from the tent behind her. Looters immediately set the tent on fire, sending a column of black smoke into the sky. She gazes upon the originium crystals on her hand, then turns back to look at the burning tent, her gaze following the black smoke up into the sky. Several colorful fireballs appear from the sun. She hears the sound of alarms blaring behind her. Run, doctor! Oh yeah, the Amiya story is so chaotic. A lot of the other ones were wholesome, but this one is just no. Part 2. Into the Cocoon. The gates of hell were open that day. Doctors, patients, mercenaries, all equally treated as collateral damage under artillery fire. For the first time, both principles and the bottom line were cast aside in favor of more efficient methods of killing. Amiya survived, but the elite mercenary who helped her escape was lost to the charred forest, reduced to ashes along with his shield. Aww. Before she escaped the war zone, Amiya looked up at the heavens. Artillery fire continued to rain down from both sides of the sky. It was futile to discern whether it was the enemy who first crossed the line, or their own side exploiting this as a pretext to eliminate the infected. But Amiya did not shirk her duty. When the bombardment stopped, she walked across the scorched earth, saving what lives she could, and putting to rest those who were too far gone. She was a doctor, and she would save the life before her, even if that same soldier might die on the front lines a few minutes later. She wanted to believe that this had meaning, but terror denied it and showed her the cruel, bloody truth, leaving her to weep in a river of blood. Many years later, Amiya was reassigned to a special ops squad. The leader claimed that they were seeking the secret to end the war. It was a well-funded operation. Amiya followed them into many ruins, but the remnants of everyday life of the old civilization did not pique the interest of these looters. They were seeking a weapon that would destroy all. When Amiya realized this, the squad was deep underground. There was no source of light in the vast space. Tiny rectangular bulges protruded from the ground and the walls, and a massive spherical instrument sat at the center, seemingly broken. Along with all the ruins, they did not find any weapons, but the leader believed the location to be of value, as an underground stronghold, and the squad returned to the surface after marking the site. They were not the only ones who had designs on these ruins. Amiya's squad was ambushed at the entrance to the underground facility. After several fell to the opening volley, the leader ordered Amiya to return underground and illuminate the spherical instrument in an attempt to deceive the enemy. If the Colombians believed it was a weapon, perhaps there'd be room for negotiation. Amiya rushed down the stairs and vaulted over the fence. She was heading for the lighting array that they set up during the survey when the blast of an explosion from behind her sent her flying. Wake up! I must wake up! Waking up is a painful thing in times like these. One never knows whether they will awaken to pain, suffering, or death. Amiya opens her eyes to find an underground space lit up by an orange glow. For a moment, she thought it was the light of flares, meaning that the mercenaries outside had managed to break in and kill all who resisted. But there was no sound here. No footsteps, no talking, no sound of flares burning. Only the sound of her own breathing. The spherical machine emanates an orange-red light as far as the eye can see. Was it not broken? Turn on? Like a giant eyeball, the machine gazes upon the tiny creature in front of it. Amiya does not understand the question the machine is asking her. What is Civilite Eterna? She's just a doctor, a helpless survivor, soon to be a former survivor. Rubble from the explosion has pierced her body, and each breath seems harder than the last. Oh, I guess Amiya's about to awaken as a king. The Preserver asks no more and scans Amiya instead. Civilly Eterna and Originium have come together in this little dying creature. One exists but lies dormant. The other exists and continues to change its host. Record, transform. Kristen's mind, long dormant, suddenly bursts with inspiration. He decides to
Misaki?
try. Yeah,
Never thought to
Kristen though. Oh my.
Now that I think about it, Sarkaz saw this Amiya through his prophecy years way before the storyteller began to weave their stories. I wonder if does that mean that it did happen and it was stored in origin. And for the Sarkaz, they are the most attuned when it comes to origin. They saw the tragedy in the information within the origin.
For his prophecy, he did see this. I wonder if he's able to see, like... Yeah, like, this could have been the outcome that would have happened, but... Good thing things changed. Because, oh gosh, this would be bad. This is the bad timeline. Just oof. So interesting how we got Friston again. Sorry, Friston, no more being Kristen Wright's best friend anymore.
Feel sorry for Amiya. She's like the flower in the ruins.
Pretty much.
But in a war-torn Terra, they don't pay it mind.
Man, this chaos. Kristen's mind, long dormant, suddenly bursts with inspiration. He decides to try to save this life. A sarcophagus rises up next to Amiya. Even though the Preserver plan did not require extra life support equipment, Kristen had prepared a few for contingencies. Little did he know that this contingency would involve attempting to save an individual of a newborn race who did not meet preservation standards at all. The orange-red light dims, the life support equipment before Mia lights up.
This is your only chance to live, little bunny.
A sound comes from the dimly lit sphere.
But even I cannot predict what will happen when Originium meets the newborn bloodline within you. The purpose of this machine has nothing to do with what is happening now. I have hopes for you, but all this is contingent upon your survival. So survive.
As the sound fades away, so does the orange-red light, leaving behind only a rectangular pod that glows with a gentle light, and the courteous trying to survive. Amiya forces herself up from the ground, climbs up to the object, and lies down inside. The pod closes, and all the indicator lights turn off. She hears a hissing sound by her ear, and feels some kind of substance envelop her. Yet she does not struggle to breathe. All she feels is the pain leaving her, then her other sensations, then her consciousness. Originium multiplies, filling all the spaces once occupied by carbon-based tissues. The tiny crown now manifests within Originium. Amiya does not sleep for too long, but when she wakes, she finds her vision changed forever. Countless humans lie still within this tiny space. They chose to slumber here with hope in their hearts, but death has taken many of them, never to awaken again. Their guardian, imprisoned in this massive orb, has built its own cage with duty and devotion, as though this might shield it from the loneliness and despair. Some bodies are scattered around the entrance. It was a desire for life that led to death, but this was only a part of the reason. More importantly, standing upon the land, she now sees clearly. War, famine, catastrophe, greed, hatred, envy. These are the plagues afflicting everyone. No one in this land is whole. Every year, every generation is spent in pain and sickness. In the end, disease becomes the norm, and seeking a cure becomes the illness. What should I do? Amiya asks herself. Information is being transmitted. Herself as crystal, herself as dust, and herself as ore all begin to think of an answer to the question. They converge, scatter, erupt, and refine, eventually bringing Amiya to an ancient palace. There stand two silent gods. Amiya puts on the black crown and prays to the gods. She prays for the wisdom to cure all. It does not take long for the gods to answer. One wraps Amiya in light, the other in black stone. Warm, gentle light affixes her in hope, while hard and smooth rock blocks out changes from the outside. She would be free of sorrow. Amiya refuses. Oh gosh, priestess and oracle.
It was Oracle and Priestess. One that was light and one that was black.
Oracle, please help Amiya. The sarcophagus opens, Amiya rises from it, and the space is once again lit up. The massive machine gazes
I
upon
don't
the
know
crown.
if I
Oh?
impressed or heartbroken. In this war, she carries no hate. She carries no hate, just a broken hope.
It's amazing though how, even with all this craziness going on, Amiya still feels hope. Like, oh Amiya. The sarcophagus opens, Amiya rises from it, and the space is once again lit up. The massive machine gazes upon the crown on Amiya's head, as though waiting for something.
Did Civilly Eternal leave behind the answer to preventing extinction, little bunny?
Amiya does not reply. She casts her eyes upon the sarcophagus to her side, covered in a soft white glow, then hard originium before finally being completely sealed. This is neither an answer nor salvation.
Absolute stasis, unaffected by time and external forces. This is enough for my people.
But it doesn't change anything.
There is always a chance, as long as the extinction is not yet complete. What is your name, little bunny?
Amiya.
Thank you, Mia. If you do not think this is the answer, then go seek the answer. You will find it.
I am
Tired.
The massive machine grows silent, and the light fades, but before it completely fades away, Amiya uses her powers. A moment later, Amiya sits limply before a massive originium crystal. Is robbing one of their future a form of killing? But if there is nothing but death in that future, is it salvation instead? Amiya turns around and temporarily casts the question in her heart aside as she glances at the innumerable sarcophagi. Right now, she must do what must be done. Ooh, the first wish. A strange phenomenon is spreading across Terra. Erbithy patients in advanced stages of infection will become enveloped in a white light before they die. Then, they'll be covered by black originium and turn into a solid, indestructible oval rock. No disintegration, no dust. Death becomes gentle for those afflicted by erbithy. At first, people treat it only as some kind of originium mutation, nothing worth paying any particular attention to. As it is not causing any more casualties, they turn their focus back to their cruel wars. But they begin to realize that it is not a natural phenomenon. As enemies shot, allies caught in cannon fire, and infected about to be run over by battleships, all turn to stone the instant before they die. There must be a conscious will driving this abnormal phenomenon. After a long search, they finally discover the one behind all this. A black-crowned courteous, a ghost of the Sarkaz. All Amiya wants is to save her lives, yet somehow, many now see her as the greatest threat to the land. She is surprised to find those who have been fighting to the death yesterday are now joining forces, pooling their strength and developing new technologies together, all in the name of killing the owner of the Black Crown. People, why? Like, what is she doing that's so bad? Like, all she wants is for them to have, like, a peaceful end. And now they're like, oh no! Evil! Amiya does not mind being the common threat of Terra. If it meant if it might bring lasting peace. But she soon notices the malice beneath the veil of false peace. Under the banner of killing the Lord of Fiends, the infected are being dissected and studied. Commoners are forced into even harder labor, and a single empty slogan decides the life and death of many. Amiya's effort to save the dying only made some of the living even more fanatical. She sees Terra's population increase, but also more lives being taken. Death has never left. It has simply taken on another guise, feeding on even more lives. Amiya wants to save lives, but she has not found a cure, be it for the illness of man or the illness of society. Yet, the spreading sorrow does not permit her to be indecisive. Passively protecting the dying and allowing malice to create a new disease would only bring more misfortune. Amiya makes her decision. She does not believe that individual kindness can change all this. Before she finds the answer to end all suffering, she would seal it all away. A gentle light covers the land. The void above the sky begins to congeal. Consciousness and even time itself freeze. Everything on the planet comes to a standstill. The story has come to an end.
Patat to siya.
This isn't a bad ending, though. Like, everything is gonna turn to
Turning millions
chaos.
of life into memories. Do you think Princess and Oracle gave her the highest privilege? She is assimilating them into her assimilated universe. I think it's total stasis.
In a way, is this kind of the ending that, like, our original Doctor kind of wanted? When we were the ghost? I feel like this is the ending we were working for in a way.
Rather than Oracle, I think it was more of Priestess.
So Princess would be happy then. She'd be like, oh yes, thank you, little Amiya. Like, I see what the Doctor likes you now.
I mean, despite our perception towards Oracle, he was caring for life. He was torn about it.
True.
He was.
Oh man. This ending is so understandable. Amiya floats in the void. Her story is one of the moons revolving around the Black Crown. Does the answer lie in the distant stars, in those sparkling stories? There's only one way to find out. She floats towards them, in search of the answer. All she finds at the end of the long search is more sorrow, a castle broken, sunken in the void. The glory of the Twin Kings desolate in time. The halos of the Tikas faded as a machine withers. The sermons of the Anasa, with none left to hear them. All the stories Amiya experiences become the moons around her, suffering after suffering sealed away, none of them holding the answer she sought. All she can do is take the moons along on her endless journey. As her exploration continues, Amiya discovers a strange phenomenon. Certain story fragments emerge suddenly from the void, only to stop just as suddenly. At the end of each fragment are traces of the same team of Sarkaz. A team consisting of a Dajjal, a Lich, a Revenant, a Notchserer, a Gargoyle, and 2 mixed-blood Sarkaz. They would either be utterly defeated in battle, or suddenly vanish after making a choice. They seem to be creating, seeking. Yet they give up so constantly, leaving behind stories that disappear into the void. Amiya spends a long time sealing these story remnants away, deducing the path that the Sarkaz are taking. She senses that they may be the key to everything. She exists because of their telling. Do they understand suffering? Do they understand her perplexity? Do they have the answer? Or do they tell these stories because they're in pain as well, just like her? Amiya follows a trail of endings towards the ending of Nymph and her friends. Like, oh, Amiya, if only she knew that these stories are just for the Revenants, all for the ancestors who are just like, more stories, more stories, more stories. And then this Amiya was born. I wonder if she'd be happy or if she'd be like, oh, so this is why they're telling so many stories. Well,
Genium,
so funny.
I have a thought to share.
Oh?
Since Originium is like an information storage, do you think if of all people that can see this strategy, do you think Princess would be able to see this Terra? I mean, she and Oracle were the highest privilege in the assimilated universe. It'd be it'd be an interesting thought if Princess was able to know Armia first because of that.
Ooh, probably. I feel like she knows everything that's going on. Like, dang, priestess. Which is also why she's allowing Oracle to continue on. She's like, you know what? I get it. Have fun. And now for part 4 of the Twin Crowns. Kings of Sarkaz. Energy begins to converge upon the launch pad, on the castle above the clouds. All of Terra has her eyes on this moment. The energy beam it fires will soon pierce the sky, revealing the secrets beyond. Many memories come to Teresa's as he gazes upon the culmination of the works he has devoted so many years to. The one called Doctor did not provide an answer for him and Teresa, but they did learn many secrets of Terra, resolving Terra's energy crisis and ushering in an era of rapid technological progress. When there were no longer barriers between the peoples of this land, when all the problems before them had been resolved, the final problem surfaced, and he and Teresa cast their gaze towards the skies above. Their only enemy, and their only answer. This Casdell, which has conquered the sky, is the pinnacle of Terran technology, and the key to the answer one they had built for themselves. 5, 4, 3. Teresa's is confident that he is ready, but something makes him look up with a start. A black halo has appeared around the sun like a cocoon. The sun continues to shine, but those bathed in its beams feel not warmth, but a chill from the deepest reaches of their hearts. He turns around. There are many expressions on the faces around him, but none of them are moving. Everything is stopped. Then, the sun changes again. The black halo begins to churn like waves, and a drop of ink drips down from it. The drop of ink falls directly onto the launch pad. The charge of energy, enough to destroy an entire nation, is absorbed by the ink like water to a sponge. The ink starts to condense, eventually becoming a tiny black orb. A hand takes the orb. Teresa's knows its owner. It is the King of Sarkaz, but he immediately realizes that this is not the one they know. In the eye of the one they know, there was sorrow, but also hope. But in this one, there is only sorrow. Do you know what lies beyond the sky? This King of Sarkaz looks at him.
The future.
He answers without hesitation. The delicate king shakes her head. This land will be doomed the moment you open it up. Teresa senses no hostility from the King of Sarkaz before him, only sorrow. She truly grieves for this world, but he draws his sword nonetheless.
Tell the doctor to think of a way. I'll buy time for you.
He says to an empty space, as the black crown appears atop his head. King charges towards King. Darkness clashes with darkness. Darkness melts into darkness. The delicate King of Sarkaz walks into the remains of a ship, deep within Casdell's mobility layer. Impressive. Teresa's couldn't defeat you. Alma 10 could not keep you out. The doctor sits quietly at the place of awakening, showing no signs of surprise at the coming of the King of Sarkaz.
There is no data about you in Civil Eterna, nor is your arrival part of Courteous's computation. You do not belong to this world, do you?
The King of Sarkaz does not answer. She simply raises a hand, the black orb floating upon her palm. This castle is both their life's work and mine. The instant the sky is ripped open, this place will be connected to the celestial fulcrum. Once this is complete, life will continue to persist, even if they fail. They're not ready, and your choice will only result in the destruction of everything on this land. I've witnessed different choices, all leading to this tragedy. The struggle only prolongs the pain. The black orb floats towards the doctor. You're certain that they are walking towards their doom. I understand. I felt much the same when I first saw the civilization. Short-sighted, feeble, backwards. Then why do you undertake such futile efforts, knowing that this day will come? As long as they exist, then they have the right to live. Even if they have imprisoned Amaten, even if their civilization was born unplanned, even if an unbridgeable gulf separates us. I could never mock the efforts they make for the slim hope of a future. On this, they are no different from the people I'm so familiar with. As for why, because I don't believe it's futile, and neither do I. They prepared meticulously and made the right choices at every turn. If it all ends in tragedy, then it was destined from the start, and we'll both have to accept it. This doctor is so full of hope. Like, wow, doctor. Being like, you know what? I believe in them. The delicate king of Sarkaz waits for the doctor to finish before saying sadly, I have seen the destruction you saw, which is why I've come to create a new choice. The black orb touches the doctor's body and begins to absorb it. I see your world, your sorrows. Now I understand. You're neither the bringer of destruction nor salvation. You're the closing note, the final code, but this should not have been your burden to bear. Amiya. All comes to an end when the doctor is fully engulfed. In the withered garden, the king of Sarkaz picks up a snapshot of the story from the branches. It is like a photo showing Casto as it was before it took to the air. She gazes at it for a moment and begins to put it away. Then suddenly looks up. There should not have been anyone else in this garden. Teresa is smiling at her. Why? The doctor chose to stand before you for a reason. Teresa lifts her head, and black originium appears in her palm. You have permission to access originium too. The doctor's permissions were incomplete, but through you, the doctor had a chance to touch upon your essence. In doing so, the doctor learned about you and obtained the information needed to complete the permissions, or should I say reset them. Thanks to Civil Eterna and the connection that the doctor opened to me, we now have the opportunity to parlay with you as equals. Teresa looks around her. All the plants in the garden are withering. The delicate king of Sarkaz, its gardener. There is no one who wants the garden to regain its vitality again more than her. But all she can do is trim the branches and steal them away, preventing them from reaching the end of their growth, preventing them from going down the path of decay. Hopeless and futile. The king of Sarkaz hears her thoughts. If there is a way to let these branches grow forever, then it is neither hopeless nor futile. It is the only way. Why do you think you will find it? Because no one is born to await destruction. No story is destined for inevitable tragedy. In every story, no one is closer to Amiya than Teresa. Therefore, Teresa understands Amiya, her Amiya, and it brings tears to her eyes. The first time I saw her, I wondered how you would have looked if you lived. Now I understand. You will always set out on a journey in search of kindness. The path you walked must have been difficult, and the sights you saw filled with sorrow. You would become many Amiyas, but at the end of it all, you will find the kindness that belongs to you. But I've always regretted it. Would you have found a different end, if I had walked with you on your journey? Would the kindness you have found have been less sorrowful if your journey was not as lonely? Now, let me try to ease my regrets a little. And yeah, definitely less sorrowful if her journey was not as lonely. Like in our world, where Amiya has Rose Island on her side, the Dokta, Kelsey, everyone else. Well, this Amiya, just oof.
Definitely.
Like, holy cow. Poor
Teresa
Amiya.
was able to say farewell on her own terms. While in a pickable day, Teresa died alone.
So
Well,
sad.
at least Amiya was by her side.
Now let me try to ease my regrets a little. Teresa reaches out to embrace the delicate king of Sarkaz. She understands the power the doctor granted her, the permission to peek into all the secrets of Originium. She did not have the time to fully pursue its contents, but she saw boundless love, a love that shared certain commonalities with the kindness of the king of Sarkaz, but was fundamentally different. Teresa hesitates for a moment. What will become of the Terra she loved at the end of the story where they gave everything to defeat the king of Sarkaz? But she does not have time for sorrow. Originium envelops them in the blink of an eye. King embraces king, darkness embraces darkness, kindness embraces kindness. Black Originium shatters the snapshot, and they are once again surrounded by the castle above the clouds. King and king rise into the sky, embracing one another, until they enter the sun and become the sun itself. The sun no longer gives out light, darkness embraces the land, and all life comes to a standstill. Terra would know night and day no more. Only a sun that transforms from cocoon to Originium and back again. Only two voices murmur in the infinite darkness. Your efforts are futile, Teresa. You cannot imprison me. The Originium that the doctor shared with you is too wild, too unruly. You cannot control it. You do not know what you're doing. Someday, the cocoon will devour your Originium, and I will break free. I have no other choice, King of Sarkaz. But the more important thing is that new hope will be born upon Terra before the end. Of this, I have no doubt. Of all the stories about Teresa, mine was happy enough. I walked together with Teresa's. War did not consume Terra. We achieved true peace, and we even saw a ray of light with the doctor's help. But you are not a part of that story. Let's talk about your story. The murmur does not go on, but the story does. Well, at least they can bond during this time. And maybe this Amiya will learn more hope, actual hope. And now for City of Angels. Oof. Part 4.
Misaki,
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
I have a thought to share. In ending 2, I think I've gained a new perspective. In Twin Crowns Terra, it shows us what could have been. It was the ideal world, yet it's remained fractured in a way. Just like our Terra, we see the things we hope to see but couldn't, even if it were. The Twin Kings standing side by side, Teresa achieving what she hoped to see for Castle and the Sarkaz. Teresa is being able to stand alongside Teresa as he supported her ideals. They've managed to bring hope to Castle for the better. Eva was able to be a friend and ally to the Doctor, to Oracle for people. And that's when I realized the fundamental thing of the difference between why our Oracle betrayed Baco and theirs did. It was simple. Their hope reached Oracle, while ours didn't. Because there's a definitive reason of why things turned out the way it did. No matter how passionate we were, there was still a logical individual who needs reason to keep them going. reason that makes sense. Reason for them to be, and it requires result. And the fact is, Oracle didn't see any hope of Teresa's path during battle. It was close to her, side by side alongside calcitors. Her ideals and hope for her people reached them. But it wasn't just producing any kind for any kind of change, just stuck in perpetual conflict. And no matter how much they wanted to help her ideals, helping them is giving their everything to her. They just couldn't do it. Everything they are is a torch. It's one of the only remnants in their civilization. Their knowledge and legacy of their civilization carries their existence in their decision. And to keep all that to a lost cause instead of hope, they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the more needed as the commander as the ghost of power. The way evil spirit who won many strategic than the doctor who wanted to save lives from empathy and travel care. The guilt and the responsibility weighed on them like a boulder, each becoming heavier and of equal weight. The guilt of the guilt of the result they created for the civilization that came after them.
Oh, definitely. All the difference in the experiences they got.
For Amiya, it was grand enough to envelop their. It was enough to Terra as a whole in her embrace. That's how much love she carries for life, which makes it so cool. Despite all that love, that compassion, there was only one thing that was absent: hope. If, if there was an equal betrayal of the sin of killing Teresa and us, everyone that trusted, it was that they gave up on them, gave up on their fight, on their suffering. They expected for Oracle to be the savior, one who gives them hope, especially for Calcit. But how ironic that all of the people babbled, it was them that needed it the most. And that's the key difference from in, in the Twin Crowns Terra. Teresa managed to get the desired results. Hope that despite the original Oracle and Priestess and their civilization created, they've managed to achieve this with it. And one of the key aspects as well in this, Oracle stayed as a researcher, a doctor, rather than the commander who had to take the mantle of the school. Oracle managed to keep it fated there, and also that he told the secrets beyond the sky. Knowledge to them, let alone is saying, they are worthy of this knowledge being passed to them. Something Teresa alone couldn't manage to do, something our Teresa couldn't deliver. That is hope, which hits even up harder that they couldn't walk the same path. But we see here in a different world, in a different circumstances of what could have been, and we've seen and witnessed where it leads them. It makes it more heart-shaking for their fare in those window fields. When Oracle said thank you to Teresa for believing in her.
All because of Teresa. Aw. The thank you is so bittersweet.
Where was I speak? Was I speaking clearly?
Oh yeah, you were. Nice and clear.
What do you think of my perspective on this? That I guess the difference being ours didn't hope didn't reach Oracle for our but do you think do you believe that is the same case for you as well? Of the difference?
Yeah, basically that's the. Yeah, I feel like that's the difference between both oracles of that story and our oracle. All the difference in the hope. A little thing called hope. So holy cow, what a big change that would have been.
Perception towards Oracle. What? What is your perception of them?
For them, just based on the differences in how things actually turn out, I feel like we start off as like, or Oracle at least starts off as like the true neutral. And then depending on what kind of, in a way, stats you give it, like heck, let's say our Oracle is like a little Chow from Sonic Adventures. Depending who's raising it is how it turns out. Like, okay, will it become a good Chow? Will it become an evil Chow? Will it become a neutral one? For us, that one I would say is the good one. Us would probably be like the more like true neutral one. But oh gosh, I wonder how we would be as like a true evil one though. Now I'm curious if there's gonna be an ending like that. At the same time, maybe that'd be bad. Like, no, let's just stay as
I
more
wouldn't
neutral.
want to imagine it. Like an oracle with no shackles.
Like, oh gosh, the true evil
Princess is
spirit.
already nihilistic enough. She only has one place to open up, and that's Oracle.
For IS, didn't expect to learn more about the Oracle too, but it's nice. Nice to have more perspectives on them. And now to the City of Angels, Part 4.
My whole did my thoughts did my feelings get across?
Like, they're good to share. And oh, hello. Now, how crazy will this one be? At the
Thank
Gate
you.
of Salvation.
Now
Oh,
let's
gosh.
continue.
Beneath the
I-
holy city of Kasdel, this natural landscape lies concealed between several mobile plates, with ancient digging equipment now shrouded by intricate structures. With the sanctification of the final plate and the completion of Kasdel, the holy city, only a few remember how to enter this hidden place. Kelsey is one of those few. She leads the guerrillas through barricades that block out the sun. Shaking off the massive automated drones, they arrive at the long-forgotten excavation site and enter a tunnel that leads deeper underground. At the end of the tunnel is a black gate embedded in the rocks, like a solemn tombstone that has not been visited for millennia. We're at the Gate of Salvation. The Holy Gun Knight raises his halberd. Bojukusti, we continue this foolishness, even after hearing the revelation, even though the destiny of Kasdel is manifest. The Pope's expression remains one of rapture.
I have heard no revelation, only a madness that does not belong to these halls.
The fanatical preaching is interrupted by Bojokusti's angry roar. He plunges forward on the marble floor, thrusting his massive halberd towards the Pope's chest. But it is as though he has hit a boulder, making a deafening sound. With her back to the guerrillas, Kelsey reaches out to feel the gate and soon finds the familiar pattern. She instinctively reaches for the mechanism, but her arm stops midair, as if she's heard something. What is it, Kelsey? Asks Yelena. Kelsey taps the gate with her finger. The silent tombstone begins to come loose, sending dust falling. As the gate slowly parts, dark red light spills forth, casting a glow in her face. Nymph sees Kelsey looking back at her, a fleeting worry flickering in her eyes. Remember our plan. We open this sarcophagus. You must tell the one within where you come from and what you've experienced, truthfully. If the directive remains unchanged, I'm certain the sleeper will choose to save this land, but I'm afraid changes have already occurred. I only hope we're in time. Kelsey does not voice her concern. The gate is fully open. She gestures for the others to follow her through. The Kasdelian Pope's palms are wide open. The Holy Gun Knight's weapon should have pierced his torso, but Bojokusti's attack, which which could have easily pierced boulders, is frozen mid-thrust. Bojokusti looks at the scene before him in bewilderment. Originium casts a shadow over Kazdo's holy sea. The Pope had long since mutated. Oh gosh.
Originium has granted me immortality. In order to perform my duty, your immobility is proof of my enlightenment. You've witnessed a miracle. Now repent, Bojokusti, before you make an irreparable mistake, before you fall beyond the reach of salvation.
A deafening boom echoes outside the building. Originium formations once again climb Kazdel's outer plates, bringing the weight-bearing structure down. The sky is illuminated by fire, which shines on the Originium shard like a spear piercing the earth.
If this is a mistake, then let me err. If I'm to fall, then let me fall. If this is the price for stopping your madness, then so be it.
The last Holy Gun Knight raises his halberd again and charges. The Estrays step through the gate, entering the underground facilities awash in ominous red warning lights. A deathly silence blocks out the chaos outside, as though this place is separated from time and space, with only a massive sarcophagus standing alone. It looks like the Originium has not reached here. It is not too late. He approaches the sarcophagus. It opens up to reveal no one, except a few black, broken pieces of eggshell. How? What was supposed to be in there? I see. Kelsey sighs.
You're coming, nymph. The mean between us, between you and the Kazdelian Pope, Bojokusti, are all signs that the directive has long since been changed.
The halberd finally pierces the Pope's chest.
It seems you have fallen, Bojokusti. It seems I have killed your enlightenment, as I was not completely fallen.
Oh, yeah, that might be it. What Bojokusti saw in Chapter 7. He saw a song to self and a Mia, the Lord of Fiends. He saw this ending. Oh no. Bojokusti grips his halberd tightly, as though it is not the Pope's frail frame being impaled upon the holy sea of Kazdel, but he himself.
Roviziel, I have.
Bojokusti casts his gaze towards the other end of the halberd. Tiny crystals gush out from the wound on the Pope's chest, expanding like a veil that covers the marble halls. No. What do you mean? Did I do something wrong? Nim feels the crushing weight of fate upon her shoulders.
No, these encounters are not the result of any errors that you've made. You've occurred because of a deviation in the directive. Salvation has arrived early,
says Kelsey. No. Why? The roar echoes throughout the halls. Bojokusti, the last Holy Gun Knight. A gentle voice speaks from behind the veil of Originium covering the sea. I have heard your roar across millions of directives. Bojokusti looks for the source of the voice, only to find a warm hand pressed gently against his forehead. He looks up to see an unfamiliar figure wearing a black veil, a black crown floating atop her head. He hears his own voice, its raspy roar, echoing through the halls. I see cities devastated. I see Originium blanketing the land. I see you, black crown on your head, melting millions of lives into nothing but memories. I see the king of Sarkaz enslaving all people, everywhere. No, no! You have killed enlightenment, Bojokusti. You have made an irreparable mistake. But you need not feel remorse nor pain, for I am here, and I forgive all. Bojokusti tries to roar one last time, but the rage is frozen in his throat. He stretches his claws towards the black-crowned figure, but they too freeze in midair. Salvation has come. Well, yeah, salvation, alright. Oop. Yeah, that's definitely what he saw in that case. He saw his other
What
selves
an
last
end. I
last
can
life.
understand now why Bojokusti launched it at Amiya.
Yeah, it's understandable in that case. He's like you!
during chapter 7.
Like Bojo Custy, that Ami and this Ami are different. Our Ami's adorable, innocent bebe.
That must been. I wonder if he was actually living through it. Living through that experience for himself. For a moment. And then snap back.
Probably, especially since it says, like, I heard your voice roar across millions of directives. So of course his other self would hear it too. His other self was like, whoa. So this is what happens to me later on. Well, darn. Amiya. Oh, Amiya. Now I wonder how Mia's gonna end the wisdom of
So
Masjana.
far. Like, what do you think of this Amiya so far? Like, she's still the same kind of Amiya, but so much different, yet still the same.
This is Amiya. Like, oh man. Our Amiya's full of nice hope. Our Amiya would be a nice magical girl. Without Amiya became a witch. Like, she's still filled with kindness, but then in her case, her kindness is more warped. Rather than letting adventures continue, she'd rather just freeze everyone in time. So that nothing can change. In a way, it is kindness. At the same time, no, Amiya, sorry. Gosh darn it, Amiya. Now I wonder if that Amiya and our Amiya is gonna meet. The Battle of the Amiyas. And oh gosh, ending 4.
Yes, I wonder what would Amiya, our Amiya, think of the Lord of Fiends. The
She probably feels sorry for her. You're like, oh, Lord of Fiends, you've
path
gone
that
through
she
so
took.
much. And then a nice little hug. And then they can share experiences. Like, I'd hope that our Amiya can convince the other Amiya not to, you know, freeze our world, if anything. Rather than a fight, nah. They'll just have a nice moment together. Sharing experiences.
I think they have a rather high chance, a kind of chance to meet. Because, do you think that they can reach each other civilized internal? Maybe that way they can reach each other.
I feel like they should be able to, especially since, like, if that Amiya can travel between all the different endings, then clearly they're all connected in a way. So yeah, they should be able to communicate. Or at least show each other stuff.
In Originium, it can even store information through other worlds in the same one. That's kind of big. That's a big information to be revealed.
Oh man, all this insanity. This world seems so peaceful. Oh man, how are they gonna reach their ending now? We're part 4 of Wisdom of Masjana. Sunyata or emptiness. The Enlightened and the King of Sarkaz meet, centuries after the last obsessed in Lokodhatu saw the light. With the sides of the slope path of Hatidias are still covered in green, the curious tourists and devoted pilgrims are both long gone. The chanting and debates amidst the viharas have ceased, and the fire Dharmapalas are nowhere to be seen. Even the thunderstorms in the distance have ceased, and there is only oasis as far as the eye can see. At the end of the long slope of soil and stone is a tranquil lotus pond. Pearl white lotuses bloom within, their numbers beyond the billions, gently filling the air with a sweet scent. Ashoka trees sway gently by the pond, golden rays shining through their verdant leaves. All is peace in Katidia, with only the heavy ringing of the bells emanating from the great white bell tower into the distance. The Enlightened and the King of Sarkaz sit in tranquility. This is not the first time they have met. In the Lokodhatu beyond, it was
Hello?
always... Yep. Hello.
How this all started. New it's kind of funny how this all started. Nip got an art block in storytelling, wanting to rush an ending that may satisfy her ancestors. His chosen Amiya's prophecy. Nip isn't the one weaving the conclusion. Amiya is.
Nim starts it, Amiya ends it. What a nice collaboration between the two. Yeah, so incredibly nice. Ancestors, you better be satisfied with this. If not, gosh darn it. The Enlightened and the King of Sarkaz sit in the tranquility. It is not the first time they have met. In the Lokodhatu beyond, it was always the King of Sarkaz who spoke first. Does the salvation of the land lie in emptiness? She asks. The girl is wearing a black veil, her ragged white dress decidedly out of place with the surroundings.
In purity, there is bliss.
Juilon the Enlightened does not answer the King of Sarkaz's question directly. His eyes are slightly closed, the cerulean flame behind him burning brightly.
When all is empty, there is no longer sorrow.
The King of Sarkaz mutters, when all is empty, there is no longer sorrow. The King of Sarkaz mutters beneath her veil. Her words are soft yet thunderous. But can there be bliss when all emotions are gone? A drop of dew forms upon the branch of the Ashoka tree, reflecting the two figures sitting opposite one another. The pond of lotus and the sceneries of Katidia.
Impermanent as the morning dew, fleeting as the blink of an eye.
The cerulean flame behind the Enlightened continues to burn bright. His brows are relaxed, seemingly unperturbed by the King of Sarkaz's question.
This land, the city, are not morning dew, and the proof of people's existence is more than just the blink of an eye.
There's a ripple in the lotus pond, billions of white lotuses floating up and down with it.
If bliss is to be fleeting, then I will mark this land by this fleeting moment I witness.
The King of Sarkaz picks up a single white lotus, which blooms and emanates a sweet scent in her hand. The King of Sarkaz murmurs a sermon, and the billions of petals close back unto themselves, into a bud yet to blossom. She holds the bud before her chest, and the black fruit emerges from her palm, absorbing the lotus and its remaining scent. I must do this. Hasidia's King of Sarkaz.
I see.
Even the Enlightened cannot help but sigh. His cerulean flame flickers, and the light begins to dim.
So the myriad souls of Sarkaz have long arrived at an answer.
The same black crown appears atop both of their heads.
The karma this crown imposes upon me is simply to preach the path of enlightenment. I thought that nirvana could be achieved if people were no longer obsessed with their own existence. My obsession thereof has prevented the liberation of this land. But fate has brought you here, which means that the karma of the myriad souls is predetermined, and the realms born from their words infinite. And so, my obsession too is emptiness.
The visage of the enlightened relaxes again, and the cerulean flame behind him once again burns bright. The black crown floats quietly above his head.
I've entrusted this path to someone else. If the myriad souls cannot find deliverance on their own, the day of resolution will come, nonetheless through the discourse. When the time comes, you will need no longer seek salvation in every story. But though both of you and I can see our own karma vivid and clear, the cycle of cause and effect is exhausted. I can no longer deliver you.
The enlightened sounds almost apologetic, as he bows slightly to the King of Sarkaz opposite of him. There is no need to apologize. You've done all you could for this land, but the duty of salvation should not fall upon another's shoulders.
Perhaps the day of resolution will come. Perhaps his path will deliver all the lands. But until that day comes, I will not give up on seeking salvation. Even if I have to walk this land 1 billion times, even if I must add yet more sorrow to my collection, I will find the ending I seek, one filled with kindness. The enlightened sits upright, as he did in the Lokad Hatu beyond. He closes his eyes. The cerulean flame behind him is still burning bright. It is well. The eternal light illuminates Kasidia. Only the King of Sarkaz, dressed in ragged white, remains by the lotus pond, beneath the Ashoka trees. The heavy sound of bells once again rings from the great bell tower. This time, however, it does not reach into the distance. Lokadhatu is empty. Okay, that ending wasn't too bad, actually. Juilon was just like, you know what? I understand if you're here, that means the time has come. Like, this too is karma. I accept it. Like, wow. This was the most peaceful ending.
A calm and reasonable person. Waylon was such a calm and reasonable person in this. Damn, respect.
Like, heck, I respect the way he went out. Like, we're just gonna have a nice moment together under the trees. We'll enjoy the flowers for a bit, and then... the end. Goodbye, world. Goodbye, Katsudia. And then the end by playing the ending scene of Impeccable Day. How will this end? The key enters Amiya, along with Nymph's inspiration and wishes. Originium-like darkness wraps around her and disappears into nothingness. I'm sorry, Amiya. I don't think the ancestors will be happy with how this story got told. What should we do, Mr. Tin Man? Tin Man? Ermi? Elisa? Nym turns around but sees nobody. The story's told, the path's tried. All faded to nothing. Only the twinkling stars in the distance bear witness to their existence. Amiya? The endless key that should have opened the lock of her heart reappears in midair. Amiya takes it and returns it to Nymph. Thanks. Nymph is certain that the one before her is still the embodiment of finality, here to put an end to everything. But she's also still the Amiya that Nymph knows so well. With the same sorrows and kindness, Nymph feels no fear in her presence. She had even returned the key to her, with that smile that the Dajjal is so familiar with. What is going on? All Nymph remembers is that she had accepted the imagination of the ancestors, as she was running out of her own. What happened in between? Crack. Huh? Nymph hears a strange sound around her in hand, like the cracking of an egg played backwards. She looks down to find that the key in her hand has turned into a glowing cocoon. Black shell fragments slowly climbing up its sides. In the light reflected by the white cocoon and black shell, Nymph saw story after story. Death by the hand of man, death by originium, death by catastrophe. These are the stories of Amiya, which she had chosen to show her new friend, perhaps in gratitude for the kindness that Nymph has shown. At the same time, she has also brought Nymph's journey to a close. Well, thanks, Amiya! This is a moment that all storytellers must face. Blindly seeking the end, when both imagination and inspiration have run dry. And finally, meeting their own end. Emitting a warm light, the white cocoon embraces the storytellers gently. Amiya had done so before they even realized it. Like a little languidness before an afternoon nap, drawing one into slumber. After that, nothing ever changes again. Sorrow is terminated, joy is perpetual. Even death has been exiled from the stories. Originium, black as night, slowly clings on and fixes it in place, ensuring that no external force may affect the story anymore. In the infinite sea of time, such affixed narratives evolve around the Terminator like moons, witnessing more and more stories join their ranks. Yet, Amiya silently gazes upon the half-sealed story. They're only human-shaped holes where Nymph's group once was. Their duty fulfilled, they may return to where they came from. Only the narratives that have been affixed continue to revolve around Amiya. With their tellers gone, these fables will never come to an end, and so the suffering within will never come. But just as the storyteller has no power over the story is also powerless with regard to the storyteller. They may leave, but Amiya will always remain in this void as part of the story. She casts her gaze into the distance. Perhaps, somewhere far beyond her reach, there's another one, another story, another search for the end. One who overcame countless challenges, defeated countless foes, and received a message from afar in the final moments before the end. An image formed from emotion. The subject of the image is familiar. She had wanted to save everything, but all she could do was watch as suffering closed in on that person. Yet the one in her mind had broken all bonds, and now stands before the end. She is glad, and asks for nothing, except to give her blessings. This is what she wants to communicate. Hopefully, that one will be willing to reply this message, where everything comes to an end. Let it be the final word on this page. Ooh, options! If you are tired, close your eyes and rest a while. I'll be with you. Aww. I'm sorry, Amiya. I wish there was something I could do for you. Silence. Aw, man. You know, Amiya, if you're tired, close your eyes and rest a while. I'll be with you. I will support you, Amiya. Good night, Amiya. Well, that's bittersweet. At least this Amiya's just like, you know what? Continue your journey, you guys. My journey has come to an end.
You're bittersweet.
But you know, I'm glad that this Amiya still had her oracle to the end. She at least has someone.
I have a thought to share. Hello, am I speaking right naman? Do you
Yep.
hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. The Dio ex machina of a dying world. That's what I would call Amiya in this Terrasamia, a terminus of someone trying to salvage something that can be saved. A world where there is no hope, where there is no change. A world of perpetual war. A bleeding world. Yet, despite all that, something she still desperately want to save. In this world, Amiya is still that strong girl, wants to save lives. But in a world where lives matter so little, a world that disregards peace, and for someone like Amiya, it's the one thing that keeps her moving forward. When all things are lost, it is hope that propels you forward. When she came into that cave to hope for a change for Terra, what came out of that cave was an even greater despair to the world. If I were to describe her world, describe her, to put into an analogy, she harbors love for the world she lives in. She wants it to heal. But no matter how many times she bandages the wounds, it just reopens and new ones appear. It just keeps bleeding. It festers until it is no longer treatable. Yet, she still keep trying because that's all she can do. The mechanical act saving lives. She doesn't hate the world for what it is. She grieves for it, cries for it. For a world that is in a perpetual cycle of pain. For a world that will just bleed its own life out to hear its cries. Amiya would rather have a world of silence than hear and listen to the sound of tragedies. Stagnation will be their salvation. Stasis will be her, and hope for an end to an endless tragedy. Those are my thoughts for Amiya.
Man, our poor Amiya, or this Amiya. We basically witnessed the birth of a beast, with all her love and hopes for the future. Though too bad her world was already pretty much on the brink of collapse. It was just endless war, war, war. So I can see why that Amiya would decide, you know what? In order to save everyone, time must stop. Everything must stop. So I'm glad that she didn't go that route for our ending. Or our world. She's just like, you know what, Nymph? I'll let you go. So she sees like a bit of hope for them at least. Because the cocoon isn't fully enclosed yet. Not just yet. So I'm glad that she decided, you know what, this world, it has potential.
Yeah. Do you think Amiya, this Amiya Philippines, during her moment with Nim, was she able to see Amiya, our Amiya, through her lips?
I feel like she should have been
I
able
wonder
to.
what she thought if that happened.
Like heck, Armia was following Nymph anyway, so she could have like felt some connection. Like, oh,
So, what do you think?
overall for IS5, in a way, it kind of was
What
like
do
the
you
most
think of the
hopeful.
conclusion for the whole IS?
Yeah,
Or-
like it's been nice. Like surprisingly more hopeful than I thought it would be. Man, these revenants, I hope they're happy with all the stories they were told. Holy cow. All the different stories. I wonder how the ancestors would feel about this Mia. They'd be like, okay, you know what, let's not
you
anger
know,
her.
Nip, in the playing scene, Nip said that the ancestors said that the ancestors weren't satisfied. Like in the beginning, like what? Old man, this is what you asked for.
Yep. Like, this is what you guys wanted. Plus, they were the ones who kind of forced this ending out of the stories. They're like, more story, more story, more story. Like, oh, King of Fiends. I want to see what happens with that. I wonder if they regret it all now. They're probably like, you know what? Never mind. We don't need the King of Fiends. Like, continue on with the other stories.
7 minutes. Do you prefer Lotus endings or this? Pick one.
Oh man, I feel like Logos' ending might like be a part of this one too, because Logos' one sounded like there was a big war going on based on like how him and his friend were just covered in Oranginium, and then the end. Like heck, they could just have a collab story. Lord of Fiends, original world, with Logos and his friend in there.
Could be.
Now this makes me wonder how the next IS will be. Like, oh my goodness.
I've enjoyed this stream. Are you excited for the conclusion? It will only last 1 hour, I think.
Oh yeah, it'll be nice.
Conclusion of this Furnaceside Fables.
Like, I'm excited to see like the craziness, especially about it's gonna involve more Tin Man, and then ending
For
with
now-
Armia.
I think I decided to not put alongside the aftermaths of this of this ending and the aftermaths in one stream. I wanted you to take it all in, if that's enough.
Like, I like that. That's good. Let the stories marinate for a bit.
And thing. Oh yeah, since you're basically done for IS for Furnaceside Fables, regarding next week, the total of streams that is needed for chapter 15 would be 4 streams. Only if each of those streams would be your usual 3 hours. And after that, we will be having prep streams to ready for the Laterano event.
Okay, it's not too bad. I'm just glad it's gonna be like an event rerun, giving a little bit more time.
How was my let's say my company? Did you enjoy my presence here?
It was good, especially getting like all the your different outlooks for how the things are going. Like heck, with Bojo Custy. 'Cause, oh gosh. Yeah, definitely our Bojo Custy probably saw his Dongta ending.
Do I tend to yap a lot during sharing my
Yapping is good. Yapping is very good. Gives more perspectives.
I see. Then are you okay us doing this for the future? Especially chapter 15, I also have a lot to say and share.
Okay, you can let me know when you wanna do this kind of thing.
Yes. I
And
think
then-
this is our proper first interaction together. So, what is your perception of interacting personally?
I'm just glad that there was like no like big scuff and stuff, because oh gosh, like that was my main worry. Like, oh no, please everything work out properly, no crashing, no like technical difficulties. So I'm just glad that everything worked out in the end. So woohoo! Yay for a good start.
To be able to read this kind of fairness fable. I think this has a important context to be,
Mm-hmm.
as a whole for the main story. Doctors that wasn't able to gather this, to this information. I think you are one of the few that were able to, sincerely, you are the chosen one.
Aw, yeah. I love that. The chosen one. So yay. Glad we were able to go through the endings, and then next time will be the conclusion. So woohoo! An all good time too.
So expecting from the conclusion. For me, I hope the Revenants is truly satisfied and being able to pass on now. Nip has already used all of her imagination. I mean, look at how showed up and we got ending for. That's how much she used up all of her imagination.
Yeah, they better be happy with it. Or heck, if they're not happy, I could imagine just Fremont showing up out of nowhere and just telling them, stop already. Like, look what you've done to the poor girl. You ran her ragged with all of your incessant story, story, story. Tell me more story. Now go to sleep, old man. But no, I hope they would just be like, they'll be satisfied and happy.
The most thing I like the most funny that I got from this how this is a Surter's canon event. Like, yes, this is her canon event through ending.
I wonder if that... Yeah, since it is a canon event, it's just too silly. Like, I'm happy with how it turned out. Like, heck, we even got to know about more of Tin Man's friends that he took along. Like, okay, you three. Come along. And heck, I wonder if they were also enjoying the stories. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they were there too. Like, if Tin Man's there...
After it's a finish on the credits payments. Do you think it's still discontinued for 1 year? I think it's plausible to have our headlines to be 1 year that discontinued.
Yeah, I feel like it has to at least last a year. With story, 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 and heck, they were also asking others for stories too, like Mudrock, Logos. Everyone was telling them stuff. Heck, even that one, like, Song to Ancestor, he also technically made his own story too. And then there's Surtur stories where they're just like, you know what, girl? You tried your best. We'll help you. No, you don't want help? Okay, never mind. No ice cream for you. Sorry.
Are you expecting for chapter 15? What do you think of the aftermaths of Castle compared to Cersei in Dublin and in Victoria for Vina? This
Oh man, chapter 15. I could imagine it being like the extra dramatic and crazy. Because we already had funny like this. This was fun. This is more on the bittersweet side, yet also some hilarity. So chapter 15, oh no. We might just get all the angst there. Which part of me is excited for, but at the same time, uh-oh. I'm mainly curious about how Monster got that form.
all the aftermaths between Casden, Victoria, and Dublin, which was how was it?
Oh gosh, I hope that Siege guys are gonna be okay. Because last time we saw her side, ugh. Having to appease all the nobles is just ew. Hopefully it's gonna work out well there. If we delve more into that.
The Sarkaz have such a rather wholesome yet bittersweet and aftermaths to them. But for Vina and for the Tarans, it's quite they have quite a drama, especially for Vina and Reed.
If we get more of that, oh, that's gonna be an experience. And heck, of course I'd want to see more of Wellington too for the other side. With Olaf, Shini, and Iblana.
Ending out of all the Furnace Fable content. For me, it would be ending 2. I've gained a new perspective because of it.
Ooh, for the endings, The one... You know, I like this one. It ended up being like the most peaceful. Ending 4. Full of wisdom, tranquility.
That was all. Thank you all for the stream, Misaki. How many streams are you going to do for next week's schedule?
Not entirely sure yet. Like, I want to say at least 2 for Arknights. I know I want to do 1 for Uma Musume. Debating what else.
Do you want to have a like do an 1 hour earlier stream, 1 hour earlier start to finish the conclusion aftermath of the Furnace Fable content and then start chapter 50 in one stream? Or do you want it to have it separate? Since the aftermath only lasts for 1 hour.
You know, maybe separate. Separate should be good. Marinating on the end of
Right.
IS5 and then later on the start of
The
all the
company
craziness.
talking to you like this. I'm looking forward to more of this.
Oh yes.
Especially at Enfield.
Oh man. Enfield's gonna be chaos. But I'm excited for that. Yay to see all the changes. But for now, I'll end stream, so thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and epic gacha luck. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Woohoo! What a nice end.